Ex-Navy SEAL says if U.S. engages in war with Iran, that'll be a disaster. So let me just go ahead and play this. This is from the Alex Bones show, and this is live.
Domestic.com. We can go wherever you want first. The great awakening to the Somali fraud, the Democrats op.
Matt Brecken was his name, as you just saw it.
Was using his bagmen. The Russia-Ukraine situation, Trump's.
Like I said, he's ex-Navy SEALs. He knows about war. And this is what he says concerning if the U.S. He goes into the size of Iran. It's a gigantic place, not no small little place. So he says, like I said in the title of the video, once U.S. enters in, that's it. And then they don't understand that Russia's going to involve themselves with it.
Saying if there's any dead protesters, we're going to start hitting non-nuclear sites, total war with Iran, Venezuela, the domestic operations. You can go in.
Yeah, Trump fucked up in going to Venezuela because Venezuela has an ongoing oil deal with Russia and China, mainly China. So they're going to go to war, but the shit's got to come first.
Anywhere you want, Matt Bracken, my old friend. So much to pick your brain about today.
I'll tell you what, Alex. This the last couple of weeks, I'm feeling like 2025 is crazy as.
See, the thing about this guy, Matt Brecken, whatever his name is, ex-Navy SEAL, he's telling the truth. He doesn't realize that Alex Bones is an insider. He's a controlled opposition. And if you tell him that to his face, he'll get mad. He want to fight you. What do you mean? You tell me something. I'll say, hey, I'm not. I don't know what you're talking about.
As it was, 2025 was just like the Romans or medieval times cranking up a catapult. They just been cranking that catapult back. You know, it's creaking. You're wondering when it's going to just.
All hell should break loose this year.
Go off. Because I feel like 2026 is the catapult energy release. Everything we've seen in the last year has just been setting us up. We're on the cusp of war in so many places. Now we're volunteering for a new war, which would be like the granddaddy mother of all wars, which would be Iran. I know in the last week we've been seeing street demonstrations.
If you're going to invade any place on the planet Earth, that's the one place you don't invade is fucking Iran. Russia is the #1 ally. And you know the power of the media is the ability to turn things up and turn things down. So in the American view, it's just like Iran is like 1979. It's on the verge of another complete overthrow. But how do we know that? We know it because we're seeing it. But is it another, fake out like the Maidan 2014? And we know now in the Maidan coup in 2014, some of the atrocities, the shootings, were actually false flag shootings. We know that for a fact now. Where the Ukrainian Azov Nazis actually fired at Ukrainians to be blamed on the Russians. We saw that's a fact now. We know that. So whatever happens in Iran at this point could easily be teed up for a false flag. Just somebody in a building shoots into a crowd, and there's Trump and Netanyahu, and we've got the aircraft carriers, strike groups going in. But people need to understand something. And this, I printed something. It didn't turn out very well, but I'm a real map guy, a geography guy. Iran is like 5 times bigger than Iraq and 10 times bigger than South Vietnam. I mean, at one point we had 500,000 soldiers in South Vietnam, which is 1/10 the size of Iran. And at that time, in the 1960s, our Navy was unchallenged. We could drive right to the coast of Vietnam and not be scratched. Aircraft carriers would park right off in North Vietnam, doing airstrikes all day long. We know now that's completely gone out the window. the Houthis with drones and truck launched small missiles were able to drive our Navy out of the Red Sea. They drove us out of the Red Sea because the modern math doesn't work for our type of warfare. They'd fire a $100,000 missile or a couple of them at a ship, and we would have to spend $5 or $10 million worth of extremely high-tech surface defense missiles to try to stop these $100,000 drones. And our destroyers don't carry an unlimited number of these. A couple dozen and they're out. They have to leave the area, return to a port that's not nearby, because they can't be launched at sea. They can or reloaded at sea. They can only be reloaded dockside. So the math just doesn't work for American power projection the way that it used to. So if we get sucked into quote unquote rescuing Iranians, what does that mean? We're gonna drop Delta Force and SEALs into Tehran because we think that some people have been mistreated?
Well, clearly that's just a cover to hit all their missile sites, was what Trump said last week. But let's pull back this false flag. We just had Israel.
But he said rescue.
I saw that.
Rescue them.
Yeah, this guy Jones is, what do you call it? Control opposition. He's trying to. That's why he's trying to stop this guy from speaking.
I think he means by liberating the country. But point taken. I want you to go there next. But separately, we were saying it's so important. Israel's able to sneak all these missiles and drones in to attack and kill a bunch of the Iranian leadership. So Israel has infiltrated, their operatives are.
The least of the flock shall draw them out. Israel is going to cause Babylon to enter this war and be destroyed.
Absolutely. False flag.
You got a complete numbskull in office. A complete numbskull.
Trump says, you kill civilians, I attack you. He just created a scenario for Israel to do a false flag.
Clear path. But that trick, I think that's a one-trick pony. The Iranians are very smart people. They were taken in by this trick where the Mossad people and other groups had set up warehouses, false businesses, and they had trucks that the back of like a standard box truck was actually a drone launcher, so that they could launch drones with fairly short range, 20, 30 kilometer range drones to take out things like radar sites, before the airstrikes came in. But that's a one-trick thing. You're not going to get away with that again. They shot that shot.
They don't walk up to the way the way the Babylon moves, man.
It's done.
They understand covert activity. They understand how it works. They understand that all wars are based upon deception, false flags.
Iran has enough missiles to level Tel Aviv if they want. At the end of that war, when we fired at them at their nuke sites, they fired like a dozen missiles at our base in Qatar, a huge base we have in Qatar. They did a demonstration missile strike, which was not covered very much. There's this radar site in Qatar, American radar site. It looks like a white geodesic dome, like a giant golf ball on the outside, and inside is this huge dish, like a 25-meter diameter rotating dish that can see things way to the horizon and over. They put the golf ball into the hole, like a hole in one. So it wasn't just, they fired some random shots into the desert to show that, we're like even now. They hit that key radar site, boom, like a hole in one. And that was a demonstration of their error probability, their accuracy, and it's
so they can wipe Tel Aviv off the map. They have this, and remember, their technology comes from Russia. Their weaponry comes from Russia.
Israel, if we want to, we can put this into your parliament building. We can put this into Mossad headquarters. Anywhere we want. So the equation has changed. It's not like we're beating up Libya or something like that. This is not Libya versus the U.S. Navy Top Gun. The second and third tier powers now have weapons that can seriously hurt our power projection forces, as in like sink a destroyer or cripple an aircraft carrier.
If we get involved in Iran, it's going to be a disaster, even worse than
Trump will have to
Venezuela.
bluster and go to full commitment, which goes to boots on the ground. So I interrupted your point earlier. We'll get back to that.
Jones, shut the fuck up. He said if we enter in Iran, we meaning the U.S., if we enter into Iran, it will be a disaster. And he explained it. Anyway, shalom. On to the next. Hopefully this is the year, but the chip got to come. The chip got to come before the destruction and deliverance come, and the kingdom. Shalom.